client relationships. Arguably one of the most important things when it comes to running a business. Without clients, we don't get jobs. Without clients, we don't get paid. Without clients, we don't have anything to make. And then, yeah, for most of us, honestly, we just don't get paid. That's what, we need money to survive, guys. That's how we run a business. So in this video, we're going to talk about why some people fail at this and what exactly you could do to avoid it. All right, it's me again. Wearing a button up because I'm here to actually meet a client. Well, not meet a client, work a job for a client. I got this referral from another client to do some live BTS and some headshots at this event that I'm at, all because I'm a good person to work with. I get my client referrals, and that's why you want to care about your client relationships, because you get an opportunity to get more clients because of that. People obviously are going to recommend you because you're just a great person to work with, right? You're well-rounded, they can get along with you. I got this new client because I maintained a good relationship with another client, and it's a reoccurring client that I have, and now this one is like, hey, let's go ahead and test out this guy, see if he's worth what everybody's been saying. So yeah, here I am. Let's go ahead and finish this conversation though back at the home office so I can maintain my reputation and go from there. All right, let's see you in a minute. All right, we are back home, so gotta go ahead and switch over to the standard setup. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that now. Here we are. We're back in the cool setup. But anywho, yeah, about that set that I was on, it was fun. I had a great time. I have decided to, going forward, I'm going to start bringing someone on behind the scenes to capture all that. That way, if there's things that I'm doing and I feel like it's a good moment to share knowledge with people, I want to have that on camera. I also want to use that towards YouTube so I can start sharing those experiences with people. But I didn't do that for this client because this was a new client. This was about finding out what this client wants, what this client needs, and get to understand them more, especially as a new client, right? I don't want to just bring in someone else and be like, oh yeah, by the way, there's this guy who's going to be following me around just getting some BTS. It's still a new relationship, you know what I mean? We're testing the waters, we're on the first date, we're getting to know each other. So didn't want to just bring that on right off the bat. But the main takeaway from that is understanding what your client wants. So that's the first mistake that even myself started to make in the beginning, and I feel a lot of other people make too at first when they first start off, is not getting the time to know your client, figuring out what the actual deliverables are. We get excited because we really just want to show off, what we can do with the camera. We can capture great content, we can capture great videos, great photos. So take more time in your pre-production to really nail all that out. Figure it out. Is it just photos that they need? Is it video that they need? What do they want these photos to show? Is it an action that someone's doing? Are we highlighting a product? So having that conversation early on, figuring out what the deliverables are and sticking to that. And once you know what those end deliverables are, you want to know, and I can't stress this enough, who your actual client is. That sounds weird to say, right? But the reason I say that is if it's, a small business, right away, okay, cool, I'm talking to the owner, I'm talking to whoever this is that needs that, I know exactly what they want. But once you start getting larger and more people are involved, you no longer are talking to just one person, you're talking to project managers, you're talking to people in legal, you're talking to people in different organizations that are a part of the process, but they may not be the key stakeholder. Perfect example of this is when I worked a project and me and the project manager were on the same page. I knew exactly what he wanted, I knew what video he was trying to make, and then come to find out, day of filming, he says, oh, I'm gonna show this to XYZ, his boss who was leading the project, and his boss was not happy. That was a learning experience for me because then I had just done all this work on pre-production, figuring out a script, figuring out how I was gonna do my shot list, having an idea of what this video was, when it turns out that wasn't the video I needed to be making. So make sure you talk to your clients about that. Are they the final person who's gonna say yes or no on this video and is gonna tell you did a great job or a bad job? Make sure that's the person that you're getting the most feedback from, because at the end of the day, once you turn in your work, if that person isn't happy, you've wasted both your time and their time. So figuring out what your deliverables are, figuring out who your key stakeholders are on what you're creating are very important, because they do my last point, which is build trust. You want to build trust with your client because, they're handing you money to develop something that they need. You're solving a problem with them. So how do you build trust? Well, you start building trust by just listening. So when you have your client and you're doing your intake call and figuring out what they actually want, and it doesn't have to be a call, it can be a Zoom, it can be email, however you do business, right? Make sure you're listening to what they specifically want, and don't do overboard, don't do too little, because they might need it for a specific reason. And ask those questions. Is this what you want? Could we possibly do this? Because I think this might be a better path. You know, you want to use your knowledge as an expert of a videographer, photographer, whichever field you're in, of why maybe a certain route might be a little bit better for them. But you want to have those conversations just to show, okay, I hear what you're saying. I have this perspective. What do you think? Yes or no? Sometimes, you know, they're going to follow you and say, oh yeah, that's a great idea, that might work. And sometimes they're going to be very particular on what they need and don't need. And just having that conversation with them, showing them that you're listening and actually going to deliver on something that they want and need, is going to start building that trust right away, versus it just being, oh yeah, I can do this, I can do that, yeah, I can make anything. Keep an open mind when working with clients and building that trust, because it's going to go a long way. My final quick tip on building trust is just to have great open communication with them. Make sure everything is squared away, all in pre-production. Really become best friends with the pre-production process, because that's going to make every relationship with your clients a lot smoother. So those are 3 simple tips that you can start doing right now to improve your client relationships. Understanding what your actual deliverables are and staying within those lanes for what they need, versus you getting all artsy. There's sometimes when you can do that, but understanding your clients' wants and needs first, it should always come first. After that, you want to make sure you're understanding who the key stakeholders are, so you know that at the end of your project, at the end of all the time and sweat you put into making something, that it's hitting the mark. And lastly, just build trust. Be someone who's fun to work with, that's understanding, that can have those open communications, that can do great work in the pre-production process. And you're just going to build so much confidence, not only in yourself, but your clients are going to see that confidence and be confident in you. I hope these tips help you really create those lasting relationships with clients, because that's one of the things I love is retainers. Retainers, man, that's where the money is. And you just got guaranteed income. But now I'm just starting to ramble. Anywho, that's it for this one. If you have more questions on client relationships, by all means, leave a comment below. I'll definitely get back to you and maybe do a second part 2 of this if there's, you know, more stuff I can possibly help you out on. Subscribe to the channel so you can get more helpful tips like this for client relationships, just all around building your business, photography, videography. I do a little bit of everything, and I love sharing my knowledge, because I remember where I was, and if I could help someone else come along with me, I'm happy to do it, guys. All right, guys. Peace. Next one. I gotta go make dinner. Bye. How weird and kind of cool would that be if I just walked off and then come back? But I'm here. Are you still watching? If you are still watching, comment with something funny like, you stay classy, San Diego. And if you make it to the end, you're my hero. Just whoever you are, you're awesome for staying to the end. All right, for real, I'm dead. Bye.